Warren.
Hello, what is up? So, I thought we'd talk about a game that actually has an advantage on Linux like CachyOS, and this is definitely one of them because there is a video I actually did on this game, and it was actually because of some purple corruption on AMD GPUs, and there's just no way of fixing it. I mean, the developers won't come back to this game. So I did upload a video on how to fix it on the Windows side, but it involves setting up some Vulkan calls. So it's obviously more messing about, but whereas on Linux it actually just works out of the box. So this is actually something I looked into at the time. So I would have to say, even the smoothness of this game, I did realise on Windows there is actually a couple of stutters every now and then, but it is actually totally smooth on the Linux. So that's another difference. So that does make me wonder if, I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to install some games on Linux, and it actually gives me more space for Windows. Anyway, because I've got so many games on Steam, I can't install them all, even on even on two PCs I've got. So I've got literally 2 terabytes of memory on my Linux OS, so I might as well just make use of it. Install some games on there, play around with it and see what the experience is like. Maybe install Oblivion Remastered just to see if there's a difference on that game, because I know there's a lot of stutters, like a ton of stutters on that game on Windows, especially when you put the hardware ray tracing on. So it will be interesting to see if there's a difference on that. So I did actually have a look at Starfield to try FSAR4 as well with Optiscaler, but it seems to be crashing now, and I did get that to work previously. So I imagine something's gone wrong with the experimental protons or something, but I did try a few protons like GE as well as Cachy, and it just didn't seem to work, so that's weird. So as far as I could remember, on Windows it crashed. Definitely it crashed on Starfield, so now it just doesn't seem to work. So again, I'll have to, it's something, I mean, you do spend a lot of time figuring things out, more so on Linux, I find. And actually, even while I'm recording, I'm finding it to be even smoother on Linux, just using Kden Live. So obviously Windows is bloated and it's doing stuff. So when I'm editing my videos on Linux, I find it to be a smoother experience when I'm putting audio in and all that, like doing voiceover. So there's good things, there's bad things, there's differences. For like rendering videos, creating videos, editing, it might even be better for me to use Linux instead, because it's not as heavy and bloated. So that's interesting, very interesting. So definitely, as I said, you don't need to completely leave Windows. I would suggest using both if you can, just to try it out and see if you like it. Everyone's not going to be like me. They're not just going to want to have access to like any cheat games, and I've got a lot of games and I just know some won't work. But I really don't mind using it in combination. If I find a game is working better on Linux, like a smoother experience, which I think will be the case because I've noticed it with a couple of games, there is a difference. So it's definitely worth checking out for yourself, I think. I mean, someone might just much prefer a snappier system, even if they're missing out on some games. Everyone's different. So another game that actually worked on CachyOS, which I didn't think it would work, but it does. This is Efootball. So this is an online game, and I've been playing it recently. So it's another game I thought I'd actually just play on CachyOS to see what it's like. But this actually uses a kernel level anti-cheat. So it surprised me again. So the Linux developers have found a workaround, and obviously I'm no expert in all that, but then it's just amazing they've found a workaround, so that's great. So obviously it's not the case for every anti-cheat game. So that website, Are We Anti-Cheat Yet? I'm definitely probably going to keep my eye on that just to see what other games have worked. I mean, you got DB Proton, that's another good website. People show you, they share what protons are working for each game and all that, which is very useful. So I'm definitely going to try and game on Linux more with games that I'm not able to install on Windows due to space. And it will be interesting. I mean, if I come up with anything interesting, I will probably do a video on it. Uh, so it will be interesting. I mean, I did feel like playing Silent Hill F recently, but then people were saying there's a lot of stutters when you get like into so far into the game. There is very bad FPS drops and stuff like that. So it put me off playing it. But if it's on Linux, if it performs better on that, it would be interesting to me. So that kind of makes me want to check that out. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.